Friends, welcome back to the Quorum stream. If you're here, it's because you know that in political news, the headline is rarely the whole story. And today, we're peeling back the layers on one of the most staggering headlines of the year. The White House securing a Saudi pledge to raise U.S. investment commitments to nearly $1 trillion. This figure isn't just a talking point. It's a colossal number that impacts your job market, the price of gasoline, and even the balance of military power across the globe. Before we dive into the hidden cost of this deal, please take 1 second, hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the Quorum stream for more deep dive analysis. Now, let's get into the Oval Office. Imagine the scene. It's the highest stakes diplomatic poker game in Washington. On one side sits President Donald Trump, focused on his core political promise: America first, massive deals, and job creation. Across from him is Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, or MBS, the de facto ruler of Saudi Arabia, making his first high-profile visit to the White House in years. This meeting wasn't supposed to be about $1 trillion. The established agreement was already a massive $600 billion pledge secured earlier this year. But in a moment of dramatic showmanship, captured live for the cameras, Trump nudged a figure higher. MBS, perhaps feeling the heat of the spotlight or recognizing the opportunity for maximum political leverage, agreed to nearly double that figure, committing to invest up to $1 trillion in the U.S. economy. This instantaneous jump is what generated the headline you clicked on, and it instantly rewrote the narrative of the visit from a standard diplomatic exchange to a legacy-defining economic coup. The president hailed it as a massive vote of confidence in the American economy, promising millions of jobs and unparalleled prosperity. But as we start to move beyond the flash and spectacle of that handshake, the serious, long-term questions begin to surface. When a number is this big, $1 trillion, we have to ask, where is it actually going, and what are the strings attached? I want to hear from you. Does seeing two leaders negotiating $1 trillion deal on live camera make you feel confident or concerned? Drop your thoughts in the comments. To understand where this money is going, we need to look past oil and focus on the future: artificial intelligence and technology. Saudi Arabia isn't investing $1 trillion just to buy real estate. They're buying their way to becoming a global tech superpower, and America is providing the essential blueprints. A massive portion of this commitment is tied to landmark agreements for American-made AI systems and advanced semiconductor chips. Think about this. MBS is directly aiming to spend upwards of $50 billion in the near term on chips alone, the high-performance computing power needed to train complex AI models. This is about building the data centers of the future, powered by Saudi oil, but utilizing American innovation and hardware. The White House emphasizes that this generates high-paying American jobs and helps secure our critical mineral and tech supply chains, preventing reliance on rivals like China. Indeed, American tech executives like Elon Musk and NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang were actively meeting with the Crown Prince, demonstrating just how essential Saudi capital is to the current explosive AI boom here in the States. This money is fundamentally reshaping the structure of the next American economy. However, as the Quorum stream has been covering, allowing such deep financial penetration into our cutting-edge industries creates a dependency that has strategic risks. Are we trading short-term investment for long-term technological leverage? It's a crucial question we'll explore further, but first, let's talk about the F-35s. Now we pivot from economics to national security, and this is where the controversy explodes. The White House didn't just sell an economic partnership, it sold advanced weaponry. As part of this renewed strategic alliance, President Trump confirmed plans to move forward with the highly contentious sale of the F-35 stealth fighter jet to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, along with hundreds of American tanks. If you're unfamiliar with the F-35, it's not just a plane, it's a fifth-generation flying supercomputer, the most advanced piece of military hardware America sells. For decades, the U.S. has adhered to a policy guaranteeing Israel's qualitative military edge, or QME, ensuring it remains technologically superior to any potential regional adversary. Israel's Air Force delivered a formal, explicit objection to this sale, warning that sharing the F-35 undermines its strategic dominance and creates existential risks. Furthermore, internal Pentagon intelligence has raised serious red flags over Saudi Arabia's deep, growing, and documented ties with China. The concern is simple. Selling this technology to Riyadh could provide China with an unwanted pathway to study and potentially compromise one of America's most sensitive defense systems. This F-35 transaction shows that the $1 trillion deal is not just a financial transaction, it's a massive military geopolitical swap, testing the limits of how much security risk Washington is willing to assume for the sake of economic partnership. Stick with us and be sure to hit the share button if you think this F-35 issue deserves wider debate. We cannot talk about the trillion-dollar deal without addressing the profound ethical component that was visibly brushed aside during the White House visit. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's return to Washington was his first since the 2018 brutal murder and dismemberment of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, a fierce critic of the Saudi regime. U.S. intelligence previously concluded that MBS approved the operation. During the Oval Office press availability, when questions about the murder were raised, President Trump not only dismissed the U.S. intelligence findings, but publicly defended the Crown Prince, calling Khashoggi extremely controversial and asserting that MBS knew nothing about it, even chiding the reporter for embarrassing our guest. This moment was powerful because it placed the economic ambitions of the White House in direct conflict with America's stated values on human rights and press freedom. Human rights groups immediately condemned the optics, arguing that the massive financial commitment, the $1 trillion headline, was effectively being used as diplomatic cover, allowing MBS to achieve a political rehabilitation in Washington. This segment of the story isn't about numbers, it's about precedent. When does the dollar amount become so large that a nation is willing to overlook a human rights tragedy for the sake of the deal? The answer, at least in this moment, seems to be a number just shy of $1 trillion. It's a sobering thought, and I encourage you to use the comment section below to let us know your thoughts on this ethical compromise. So after all the drama, the handshake, the F-35 controversy, and the ethical compromise, we have to return to the number itself. Is the $1 trillion pledge even realistic? Many financial analysts and regional experts are highly skeptical. Historically, foreign investment pledges, particularly those tied to massive political summits, often failed to materialize fully. For example, during President Trump's first term, previous pledges of hundreds of billions of dollars resulted in only a fraction of the promised exports and sales actually being delivered. Furthermore, Saudi Arabia has its own massive domestic financial obligations. MBS is spearheading his Vision 2030 plan, which involves building entirely new futuristic cities and sprawling infrastructure projects at home. This domestic spending is incredibly expensive, and some projects are already facing budget overruns and delays. Analysts note that given the current climate of softening oil prices, for Saudi Arabia's public investment fund to actually execute a $1 trillion injection into the U.S. economy would heavily strain their financial resources and require aggressive borrowing. The ultimate reality is that the $1 trillion figure functions more as a political statement and a symbol of strategic intent, a signal that Riyadh is betting its future on a tight transactional relationship with Washington rather than a guaranteed wire transfer. It's a high-stakes, long-term gamble, and its success hinges less on the White House's ability to secure the deal and more on the kingdom's ability to finance it over the next decade. We've now taken the full 360 view of this historic deal. On one side, it's a tremendous economic victory, a massive infusion of foreign capital designed to power our most critical future industries like AI and chips manufacturing. President Trump can point to this $1 trillion headline as proof that his transactional diplomacy works and that he's bringing money and jobs back to America. But on the other side, we see the hidden price. A dangerous erosion of the regional military balance with the F-35 sale, and perhaps more importantly, a willingness to look past severe human rights violations for the sake of the deal. The tension between these two realities is the real story here. It's the core debate that will shape U.S. foreign policy and the global economy for the next decade. Now, I want to know what you think. Which aspect of this deal worries you the most? The financial uncertainty, the F-35 sale, or the ethical compromise on human rights? Please share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's start that important conversation. Your engagement is what keeps the Quorum stream producing this level of detailed, fact-based analysis. If you appreciated this deep dive, please like this video, share it with a friend who needs to see the real context, and of course, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. We'll be tracking the specific rollout of those AI and chip deals in an upcoming video, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next analysis.